and I'm going to share my screen. Thank you. There we go. Can everybody out there see my screen?
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
One of our customers is Homewell Cares, and for some reason it's overlaid on top of me. That's interesting. Find these all interesting, but I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's really great. You know, Jeffrey represents leadership in an actual great properties. So for the home care agencies on here, he would be kind of a customer or to be a partner to help the residents in independent living communities. So what I want to do today, Gina and I, uh, we kind of want to give you a background of, first off, what is community care? And then a very brief demo of CINCH. If after this, any one of you would like to have an individual demo, perfectly happy to schedule that. That'd be great. But then we want to highlight one of the properties, the Kisco Senior Living property, from personal experience that went into and what we think led to success. But for quick background introductions, I'm Tim Murray. I'm the CEO of CINCH Community Care Management, and my co-founder wife, Gina. You can read about our background if you go to our website. We have a why CINCH, and it starts with our story. But we were home care agency owners, and home care agency owners have a special place in our heart, as do executive directors of the properties that we work with. And this long story short, we had a successful home care agency for 6 years here in Raleigh. And we got into senior living and realized that a lot of the senior living properties, especially independent living, had a need for home care services, but a completely different business model. Whereas the residents, there's no minimum of 4 hours. The residents like, I need you to help wake me up or help me get down to dining. Maybe there's some mobility issues, some cognitive issues, 15, 30, 45-minute visits. And oh, by the way, one of our big property highlights today was 90 residents on service simultaneously. And our home care technology platform, which is still one of the leaders, WellSky, simply did not meet our needs. We needed something that Gina's like, I need to see the big picture. I need to have the schedule in front of me. I need to efficiently schedule. And also I need caregivers to work as a team. They all need to see each other's work because there's delays and we need to help. And traditional is very much one-to-one. You assign a caregiver. So Gina's going to highlight a little bit about that. So I'm going to turn it over to Gina to do a quick Community Care 101 and then jump into CINCH to highlight some of the features of CINCH.
Right. As Tim said, I would set the schedules and they'd look really pretty at the beginning of the morning, but the reality is it was never quite like that. You know, if you have an 8-hour shift and a caregiver shows up half an hour late, it's inconvenient, it's not great, but it's not life-changing. They show up half an hour, 45 minutes late to a community, they may have missed 3 visits, and the whole ripple effect, it affects the rest of the shift. So for home care agencies, you know, you assign a caregiver directly to a client. It's the one-to-one. So we had caregivers who had 10, 12 visits a day. They call out half an hour before the shift. You have to find somebody and then reassign those itty-bitty visits to them so that they can open it up. We also found that caregivers didn't know what the other was doing. They're like, oh, I was half an hour longer with Mrs. Smith because she fell. Another one said, well, I was sitting in the office, had no access, no way to talk to each other to say, I could have helped you out. So that's what Tim said, but we had to build something that had teamwork. So I am going to share my screen real briefly just to show you what makes CINCH different. So I'm a nurse, so I'm very about regulations, but our whole agency was about caregivers. We had to give them what they needed, the tools to do their job. So CINCH was built with caregiver input, I was the scheduler at the time. So this is what Cinch looks like. This is the difference. This, the caregivers have their assignments in vertical columns. So if I'm caregiver Morris, and at noon, I know my next visit is going to be apartment 119 in Margaret Holloman. And here's my teammates. They each have their visits. And in each visit, it has the specifics. So the schedulers can move it, but it gives the details of the visit. We're going to capture the actual begin time, and then she's going to get escorted to meals. Got a reminder to take her medicines, and they simply check yes or no. If no, it's got to have a reason. So you tailor these specifically to that client. You're going to capture the begin time, the end time. And what the beauty of this system is that any caregiver, now this is my list, I'm caregiver 1. I'm responsible for all the visits during my shift. But I can message my teammate and say, hey, Paula, I'm still in with Margaret Holloman. Can you pick up my 12:30? Any caregiver, the caregiver who opens the visit, it documents as them, which is completely unique. None of the home care platforms do that. It's all strictly one-to-one. This is the big picture Tim was talking about. I'm like, how many client visits do I have? How long are they? Wow, I don't think I need 3 caregivers. If I just organize these a little bit differently, we found that we could be much more efficient. We saw where the apartment numbers were. We had the caregivers help us arrange them. So this is what makes our platform completely different. It's built for community care. It's built for teamwork. It's built for a whole lot. We had 7-minute visits, so a whole lot of itty bitty visits. And each visit has the documentation that's required, level of assistance, the specifics of what they need. So that's, in a nutshell, this is what makes Cinch the game changer in communities, because it's built unlike any other system. Is there anything else you wanted me to cover?
Just pop out to the homepage if you would, real quick. There's a lot to this. I mean, this is a complete platform, so it starts with an assessment with the client that leads to the IADLs and ADLs, the things that they want and they need, and then formed a visit plan, complete with all the way down to invoicing. But I'm Navy vet, and I'm staring, I'm nuclear trained, so I needed my dials and stuff. As an operator, I needed to understand profitability and caregiver utilization. Are we effectively utilizing a team? So this homepage kind of gives you the big picture of what's going on in each community. And utilization is really important because we found I talked to a lot of home care agency owners, and they were failing in communities because they didn't have the tools to properly schedule. They were overscheduling, underscheduling. The clients weren't happy. The next thing you know, they either quit or they were kicked out by the community.
Yeah.
Our first community, we were the 5th one in, and Gina said, to stay, you need to build me something, and we did. And then we rolled it out in other communities. It enabled us to stay in the game. It enabled our caregivers got an app they really love to use, and I knew exactly where we stood. So that I just wanted to point that out too, the big picture. But as Gina said, scheduling. This is a scheduler's friend.
Right. And we
And
built
it's
it, so we
tailored to
also
community.
built it to work alongside primary platforms. We do have integrations with Access Care and WellSky, but we also work, we have customers, it's a add-on, works alongside the primary platform. So you're not asking home care agencies to change their platform. We're just saying you can add this on, and the benefits were amazing.
I have a question. Are you guys seeing the PowerPoint? Are you guys seeing Cinch?
Oh, probably me.
Just the audience there. Jeffrey, Christy.
We're seeing the Cinch homepage.
There
Well,
you go.
not now.
Okay, you did see this. Okay, great. I screw that up sometimes. I had to Gina luckily took the share for me. Sometimes. Okay, good.
There you go. I stopped the share.
Okay, but now you can fire up the mobile app if you want, real quick, to show the audience.
But
So there's 2 parts to this. There's the web portal that you saw, which is mainly for the administration the schedulers to run the show. But the real magic, as we know, is the caregivers working with the clients. And we built a tablet mobile application, Android and Apple, where the caregivers, it's an electronic documentation system. It's really easy for them. And they can literally go into their visit, and they have what tasks they need to do. And it's click, 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 and they get it done. And the cool part about it is they can see their teammates' schedule, as Gina said. So they don't operate in a silo. They can see, oh, we wanted to show you this real quick.
That's just, so this is what their schedule is at the top. Oh, no. Sorry, let me flip. Down. Sorry. So their schedule is it's static. They don't tap it, but all their visits are right here. So their next one is always on top. So it looks like I missed the 6 a.m. visit. So I'm going to open up our 11:30, and it's right there. They hit begin, and it's very simple. Yes, no. If it's no, attest to it. When they complete it, that one will drop to the bottom of the list. They can work completely offline. Works just as fast offline as it does on, and they can sync, because a lot of the communities, they have difficulty with cell service and internet. So it's completed, not synced. If I get if I get the connection, I want to sync it. No, I have internet connect. Oh, there, sync. But we built it very fast, very easy. The caregivers find it very simple. So if I get a message, we have secure messaging. I can look at my teammates. Like, oh, you need me to do the 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm on yours. If I open it up, it's going to show that I did it. So that is the way community care really runs. They take care of each other. And so if someone hey, I gotta leave an hour early. Hey, us too, we can cover the rest of the visits. You don't have to send anybody. So it's a very simple thing, but it's wonderful as an agency to be able to have the caregivers have what they need, and as the agency to have what we needed for correct invoicing. When they say, oh, and they have the exact times the caregivers in there, so nobody saw mama. Well, she clocked in at 9:05 and left at 9:35. So you have all that information. So
okay, there's a lot to it, but we wanted to give you the glimpse of the solution we've built is tailored to communities like Jeffries, where you have an IL and you've got I call it congregate care. There's a group of individuals. There may be 10 to, we had, like I said, 90, and I'll highlight the minute, but it's group care and it's short visits. That's what this is built for. And you can continue to use whatever your platform is. We used WellSky, and then we created methodology, use CINCH nicely together. But now we have an integration with WellSky, we have integration with Access Care. So I'm going to take this back and kind of now speak to a case study. And this is actual experience. We sold our agency in the of December of 2020 at the end of the month. The Key purchased our agency. They are still in Kisco Senior Living, providing the service, but that's how we got started. And this is a really great story. And we really love communities and executive directors. I mean, executive directors, the GMs, they set the tone, the culture. And both of our mothers were in communities. And the EDs were kind of the guys and gals that when we met, we're very comfortable. You're going to take care of my mom. But at Kisco, we had 93 residents on service. Imagine that. There are some home care agencies don't even have 90. I mean, that's a lot. And it was a 24/7 operation, because there was a special classification here in Carolina called a MUA, where they're almost borderline assisted living. So they have an agreement or a contract with an agency like ours. So it was 24/7. They had a pendant system, and our job was to take care of the residents.
But they had scheduled visits. I mean, they all had scheduled visits. Pendants were the exception, not the,
right, we're the exception.
yeah.
But to give you a scope, we had teams. I can remember it was amazing in the morning that it'd be a morning stand up and we had 8 caregivers with their iPads, team leaders saying, okay, here's some highlights for today in the community. Remember, Mrs. Smith is coming back, smile, do this, but they were part of the community. And then they'd go. And it was just amazing to see these caregivers all working together, taking care of the residents. The residents loved them. And then we even had 2 at night, and we averaged 6,000 visits a month in this one community. So it was quite an operation. And we just love being there. We just meshed. And this is, I encourage you, if you have some time, this 3.5 minute interview with David Sexton. He's still there. And he speaks to what the relationship meant to him, because they tried it themselves, the property tried it themselves, and they were failing at it. Then they contracted with 2 agencies, they both failed. And then we came in right at COVID-19. We started. And we worked together. We built this relationship with them. And he calls it a game changer. And that the things that he admired most is the residents got what they wanted, not cookie cutter, a package. They got what they wanted when they wanted it. And then the other thing is the caregivers knew what to do, even the new ones, because the cinch says, here are notes and here's what you need to do, even with a little picture of the resident. And he just thought that before in the other agencies, some caregivers say, tell me what to do. What do I need to do? And the client's like, you're supposed to know what you want to do. And we built great teamwork with the property staff. And as a result, David's phone used to kind of ring off the hook about complaints. It went silent. And the census, because they started promoting us as you want to come to our community, and if you need some help, we have our partner. They're here, and you want to meet with them, get to know them. So we became an asset and an important piece of the whole community circle of support. And their census went from 75% to today, they still have a wait list.
And we work with the hospital discharge planners. If we knew somebody, even if it wasn't one of our clients, if they told us a resident went to the hospital, we would go visit them. We would make sure the discharge planner knew. They're like, oh, that's an independent community. They can't go back there. I'm like, well, this is what we can provide. Oh, okay. Tell me if you provide this, then we can discharge them back to the community. So we saved a lot of people having to move out too early. We prevented a lot of early move outs.
They want to come back to the community.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go to rehab, they may not make it back. So knowing the hospitals knew, because we knew all the discharge planners and all the surrounding hospitals, that we were there in that community, they were more comfortable to discharge them back to the community. And I don't know, Jeff, if your communities also, some of them have home health actually have an office on site. We worked with them. Jeff, do they have, some of your communities have that?
Yeah, we have offices in all of our communities that we are a part of. So our home care, we're in all of the facilities.
That's great. That's great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and my advice to the great home care agencies out there in today's this is what we learned. Do your homework. Really understand that community. Go to the corporate. Segura, if you visit Jeff's site, they have all about their culture, all about what they value, where all their properties are, understand their culture. And then when you meet with the leadership, understand expectations.
What do they need? Yeah. What do they need?
Yeah, because every community is unique. Segura has a family, but the ED, there's usually a little uniqueness about it. And you got to demonstrate your competency, and that's where Cinch can be an ally. We won one community because I took screenshots of Cinch, and this is early Cinch, because they say, hey, this other agency failed. How are you going to manage this? They told me they can't be profitable. They don't know how to schedule. I showed them Cinch, and they're like, you get it. I said, yeah, we do. We learned to trial by fire. And And he said, okay. Then they wanted to even buy it from me. It wasn't ready for prime time then. And I think the biggest thing, be a true partner. They want a true partner. They just don't want a home care agency there. One of the best compliments we got, one of our great executive directors, Matt Towler, said, it didn't matter what shirt you're wearing. We're all part of the same family.
Yeah.
And so you become part of the community, the circle of support. You all work together. And then the other piece of advice is understand their sales process. And what they did is early in their sales process, they brought us into it. And sometimes we were part of the initial intake with a client because they needed some help a little bit.
Yeah, they would say, no, I'm not sure if they're really totally independent. Will you meet with them? And if your services, is enough, then they can move in. So we were definitely part of it. And it did. It saved couples from, splitting up, when one needed more care. We're like, no, we can help out. And I think one of the biggest things we learned, and as a benefit as an agency, is the caregiver retention in our communities was sky high. They
Big
love
time.
working
They
in the
love being there.
communities.
Yeah.
They love the teamwork. Our team is still there over close to 5 years they've been there. They love it. And they refer to you for traditional care. You become, really part of the community. So it was a nice stabilizing agent for our agency too, as far as revenue went.
Yeah, it represented 33% of our revenue, and then we got 12% referrals for traditional care. And it was a game changer for our agency. I mean, it was a blessing. It was hard work to understand it and get into, but I encourage you all to, if you're not in community care, to take a look at it. Because it's just a really cool thing. And it makes your agency diversifies your revenue, your caregivers got more opportunities, you can pay them more, they're happier. There's just like this, it's just a really positive experience that we have with communities. And we love working with the various communities.
Yeah.
So I know this is kind of a brunch and learn, that we wanted to give you a little bit of, we felt just kind of a flavor for community care. Some of our experiences, if you're interested to follow up, demo, we love helping people because that's what we're in the game for, is making a difference. And we feel CINCH in the hands of a home care agency enhances the lives of residents in independent living so they can stay where they want to stay longer. That's their home. And CINCH helps them in your hands. So God bless you for that. So I want to open the floor to questions for Gina and I.
Have many of you done it? Have you tried community care?
Christy and I are in the beginning stages of planning to try to make this work. Try to make this work being the key word. One question I have, so the community that we are targeting is not, they just opened probably not even a year ago. They're nowhere near capacity. So we would not have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 caregivers there at one time. It might be 2. It might just be 1.
It might be just one.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, from what we've talked about, it will be just 1 in the beginning.
Right.
To the point of a caregiver, we'll call her Jennifer. Jennifer has a sick child and she can't go today. If we had other caregivers in the facility that were already familiar with the residents, tasks that were needed and that kind of stuff, we could just say, hey, can you help out with Jennifer's visits this morning?
Right.
But if we don't have anyone there to pick up that slack immediately, what do we do? I guess my question is, how do we make, like if we just pulled a caregiver out of our pool that we work with here in the office and say, hey, we need you to go to the Phoenix this morning for 4 hours, visit 7 clients, here are the tasks. I can't wrap my mind around that being really top of the, I mean, see what I'm saying?
No,
Christy's sitting right beside me.
I hear what you're saying, because that's what when we had two communities, they were like, I can't go to the other one because I don't know it. And before we had
Right.
Cinch, it was like, I know Stone Ridge, don't make me go to the other one. I don't know the people. So we built Cinch so that the information that's in there, anybody can pick it up and go. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a nurse from our old agency. She said, I have to tell you, a couple weeks ago, I'm walking into Abbotswood. I'm not really familiar with it. I've done a couple assessments there, but I don't know the people. And they said, look, we are so short. We've got, 3 caregivers didn't show up. Here's an iPad, your caregiver too, go. She's like, what? And she said, okay. And she said she just clicked open the first one. It told her exactly what to do. It had make sure she has the pink cup because that's the only thing her poor little hands with arthritis can hold. She's got to wear a sweater. So all those details were in there. She's okay. That was a 15-minute visit. And next one is in apartment 101. I trucked down to 101, pop open that visit. And she's like, I couldn't believe it because she was like, I was like, I can't do this. And they said, well, you got to try.
Yeah.
And she said, I was really surprised. Now, initially it takes you time to get those details in. And what it is sitting with the caregivers, the ones who know the people. Now, Miss Margaret, you have to make sure she has lipstick. She will not leave the apartment without lipstick. Now, that's important to her. It's important to her daughter. And that's what makes you successful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we gave, if we're giving the caregivers those tools. Those
And
are the
all
tools.
those little notes are in the profile or whatever for each client.
Right. And they, because you build it into the task. Hey, for showering, she has to wear a shower cap. So when they open it up, it's right there. They don't have to go looking for it. It's part of the task. It's
Okay.
all part of, because it's individualized to that person.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what really made us
Can I ask you
successful.
one more thing kind of
Sure.
related to that?
Absolutely. Sure.
In instances like that, do you get any kickback from the clients when it's my normal Jennifer's not here and now we have Claire? Like, do you call every client and say, hey, Jennifer's not coming today. Your caregiver's going to be Miss Claire?
In community care, so part of it is setting expectations. So we would sit down when we did the initial and we said, this is about teamwork. And yes, we try to keep the same caregivers in the same areas of the building. And right now it's Jennifer. But Jennifer's not going to be able to work 7 days a week.
Right.
And things are going to come up. So we say to the caregivers, you must have the skills and be able to see any client in the building. So if you have 2 and one's allergic to cats and they have cats, they're like, and she's in an emergency and you've got to be able. And so, we would talk to the clients and say, if there's a real personality problem or we want to know, but it's not like home care where they're there for 4, 6, 8 hours. It's a half an hour.
Right.
So they'll be nice to you. And especially if you have those little things that they can read and they're like, oh, you knew about my pink cup. Okay. I might let you give me a shower.
Okay.
It really does work. As a testament, Gina, we have a prospect and it's actually a property here in Raleigh, where they do their own home care. And one of the nurses came over, that was on the Abbotswood.
That's the
Oh, you
Abbotswood
just talked
story.
about, yeah. It's a great, and she said,
she was shocked. She was just like,
she
I put information in there, but I've never actually looked at it. Like, thanks, Meg.
Yeah, no, but it was a great testament to Cinch. So, the getting started is always the tough one. Trying to be profitable, sometimes you're a little bit under the water.
Make sure you price it appropriately.
You're right. We have certain thumb rules. If you look at our website, we also consult. We've got some getting started packages. We took all our knowledge, all our templates, our agreements, our marketing material, everything we did, we saved. And we built this little consulting practice around it, get up and running. Then if you're doing it, not doing well, we can help you get better. So it's under CINCH OS, which is our consulting practices. And we've done a lot of those with people. It's been really helpful to get them ready, because what you'll find is when the community calls and said, hey, I want you in, you got to be ready or else you miss,
What platform do you use for?
WellSky.
WellSky.
Okay. Oh, the big announcement should be in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks
Oh.
of the
Huh.
integration. So,
We'll be looking for it.
Yeah,
so
it's been a long time coming.
yeah,
But it's a really good, the products really mesh well now. And basically they're sunsetting their community for using Cinch.
yeah.
That's what they're going to recommend. And it works under the covers. And, you know, as caregivers complete their visits, they actually flow back into
Into
WellSky.
Well Sky.
So, and then you invoice out of WellSky like you normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. But, you know, you can, you know, like I said, you can really we work with any platform,
Yeah.
work with it. We can show you how we did it with WellSky before the integration, and the product pays for itself because of electronic documentation. We find a lot of people are still using spreadsheets or Word document templates, you know, we make that electronic. You know, that time savings
Mm.
more than justifies the product, you know, even if it's not integrated. We can show you how to do payroll out of your base and still how everything works. So yeah, we're excited about the future. And we really love to help agencies get into this and do it well. So that's
Yeah.
our goal.
Deidre, are you doing community-based care? Oh, we can't hear. We can't hear you.
We can't hear, yeah, we can see you. Because Deidre's senior helpers,
Oh, nice.
and senior helpers is going to be is WellSky.
Yeah,
And we got a bunch of senior helpers that are waiting too.
for the integration.
Although we're going to speak to one tomorrow, Amy Peterson Smith, who wants to get going as soon as possible.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're excited to work
understand the
with y'all.
technology.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, listen, any of you guys want to follow up with us?
Shoot us an
Deirdre,
email or whatever, and
yeah, shoot us an email. We're happy to show you
Give-
more. But since you're WellSkyers, in 2 weeks there should be an announcement, and we've built video
A
tutorial
whole-
training to walk you every step
yes,
with our two products working together. We're very excited about that.
yeah,
So, anyway, thank you for joining us today, guys.
yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Denise, I know
Appreciate it.
we haven't. Denise, thank you for joining us. This recording will be available as well. So, have a good day,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you.